Hi Rafa, you well?
Yeah, fine, and you?
Yeah, good thank you.
Good.
Everyone turning over?
Okay.
Rafa, first of all, is there any new team news? How's everybody come through the midweek game?
Team news in terms of injuries, still Shelby, Richie is not available. Manquillo was training, but he's not in the squad, and Lascelles was training, he's available.
How much of a bonus is it to have somebody with Lascelles' experience and leadership skills available at a time like this, given the rocky start you've had?
Yeah, obviously for us, he's an important player. When you miss some players in important games, always you know that they will be even more difficult. But we have players coming back. It's about for the confidence. Hopefully, he can make the difference.
You'll be aware that the reports are out there that Jamal and Matt Ritchie had a training ground bust up. Are you in a position to confirm or deny that? And if so, is it a positive that players are still so passionate about this club and the position they're in that you see the emotions boil over?
Yeah, as a manager, you want professionals that they care and they try to compete and to win. So I think we have had, in all my life as a player and as a coach, every year you have 2 or 3 situations in a dressing room, during a game, during a training session, that something happened between players. Why? Because they want to win, they care. So you want competitive professionals. We have competitive professionals, and that thing is very positive.
We saw Ayoze Perez's reaction at the end of the game on Wednesday night in a round of the competition where several games had VAR. Do you lament the fact that it wasn't involved in your game?
If the VAR is for the referees too, I think we'll make a point. Because we had a penalty the other day, too many fouls, and then it was just too many things in a row that in the end make the difference in terms of results. So you can understand sometimes the frustration of the players.
He was clearly very frustrated. Have you spoken to him since then?
No, I was talking with him after, and he understands, and that's it.
What about Manchester City then? Because at the moment they're probably, realistically speaking, the last team any manager wants to see next up on the fixture list because they're playing so well.
Yeah, I think that we knew from the beginning that it will be a difficult season. So you see the features and they are quite complicated for us. But okay, we were expecting something like that, and then we have to be prepared for play against them in the best way possible. So we will try to manage our squad. We will try to get a good result, and that's it. So 11 against 11, you never know. That is football.
In your mind, what is the best way to approach this game?
This is what we did in the past, getting points against the top sides, and be sure that we do the best for the club. So we don't need to prove anything. We have to do something that will be good for us, to go there and try to get 3 points, try to get 1 point. So a good result for us.
You've been involved in the Premier League for a number of years now. You've seen a lot of teams and managers come and go. Is this the best team you've seen in the Premier League?
It's difficult to say because when I came here, Chelsea was doing really well. Manchester United was doing really well. And after you have Liverpool now, for example, doing really well. So there is one thing that you know maybe better than me, but the teams are spending more money. They are winning the Premier League in the last 20 years, apart from Leicester. That was an exception. The other teams, all of them, they spend a lot of money. They have good players. They play good football. So, but I can see also every year we have to say, oh, this is the best Premier League ever. So the next one will be the best Premier League ever, and the next one will be the best Premier League. It's the same in the Spanish League, in La Liga, or in the Italian League. Every year, obviously, you have to sell something, so it will be the best ever. What is sure as is the most expensive ever, and you never know what happens next year. But when you sign good players, you have good teams, you have good managers, and normally you have to play good football, and then it will be exciting for the fans. But this is a great team, yes. It's a great manager, yes. It's the best ever. We will see next year.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Rafa, we've seen pictures of Jamal and Matt Ritchie joking in training this week. Just on them, are you happy with the way that they've resolved that dispute?
Yeah, I said before that you want competitive players on the pitch. So when they train, they are the most competitive. So this is what you are expecting. Sometimes you have a tackle or whatever, you have reactions, but they forget quickly and they start working. And you could see that this is not something very easy to understand when you see them On the pitch, they talk each other, and our team, you don't have any doubt that everything is fine when you see the team working as hard as we work together, and especially the last 2 years. So the last 2 years, this team has shown you can win the championship doing a really good effort as a team, and then you can finish 10th in the Premier League the same way. The togetherness has been the key, and it's something that you can see every single day.
And just one from me on the Nottingham Forest result. Does that result highlight concerns about the depth of squad that you have this season?
Yeah, obviously, when you lose a game in a cup competition against a team that is a division below you, then you have to analyse why we didn't play at the level that we were expecting, obviously, and we have to say what we have to say after the game because you want to protect your players. But in the end, we know that we have to do better. Still, we were unlucky with the decisions because it could change everything. But we have to manage in a cup competition. Since I am here, but also in Spain, anywhere, so you have to use your squad. If not, it's impossible to compete at the maximum level and be consistent during the whole season against so many good teams, in the Premier League now. So I think it's important for us to understand that. We are disappointed because we want to win every game. But I said this last year and then maybe 2 years ago, you have to progress in the cup competition as much as you can with your squad. You cannot think that... I was explaining about the 7 players that Chelsea had on the bench the other day. Any of these players could play in our team. So if you play against them and they play these 7 players, it will be a weak team for them, but they still will be stronger than your team. So you have to be realistic and then go to a situation that if you go to the quarterfinals or the semi-finals, now maybe we can manage in another way. But if not, if you go through, fine, we will try to win every game. If you cannot, then quickly forget and concentrate on the Premier League.
Thinking about Manchester City this weekend, how much encouragement can you take from the fact that Newcastle, under your management, have been there or thereabouts in games against the big teams? You might not have got a point, but you've been close. Chelsea is an example, and Manchester City at home last season as well.
Yeah, I think we were quite good against some teams. Tottenham, for example, the first season was really good, but after we lost against Tottenham with different tactics. Why? Because they are top-class players. So when you play against top teams, they have a player that can make the difference. I'm talking for my experience. When I was in Extremadura, my first game in Barcelona, we did really, really well, and we lost 1-0. So against these teams, everything has to be perfect to be sure that you can get that result. And then again, I will say something that some people, they don't want to understand. You have to have ambition, but you have to be realistic. So the best way for us to get results and to achieve what we want to achieve, that is the main thing, is to stay in the Premier League at the moment, is be realistic and manage the expectations. I can come here and say, we will attack and we'll play with 3 strikers and everybody will be happy and the fan will say, fantastic, and after you can lose 6-0. Then we have to be realistic and manage the expectations, and that is the best way for us as a football club to achieve what we want to achieve, that is to get points to stay in the Premier League. Doing that last year, nobody was expecting that we could finish 10th. Everybody was saying, and I remember all the pundits at the beginning, teams that will be relegated. Newcastle United was maybe 80% of the pundits that were saying that. Why? Because in theory it could be like that. This year is even more difficult because Wolves and Fulham, they have spent a lot of money, not just this year, also in the past. So they have very good players. So last year you have Huddersfield, Brighton and Newcastle United not spending too much. Now you have 2 teams that they have already promoted, spending a lot of money. And if you see the table now, you see Cardiff, Huddersfield. We are around this league. That means that we are not ambitious. We are really ambitious, but we are realistic and we have experience. So what we have to achieve is to stay in the Premier League. How we want to achieve that? Getting results. Where we will see how trying to play nice and good football if we can. If we cannot, some games you have to manage. And then because we did well last year, we think that it's one way. Doesn't mean that we have to play this way every time, or doesn't mean that our tactics are like that. It means that that is the best for our club. And we want to achieve something that is so massive, so important for this city, that is to stay in the Premier League, that we need to do as a professional. We need to find a way to do it. And nobody knows our players better than us. So I have a lot of confidence in them, and I'm really proud of them because we did what we did in the last 2 years. But to be realistic doesn't mean that you don't have ambition.
And finally for me, just on that...
I was a little bit long.
No, that's great. Do you feel then that criticism, perhaps of the way that you set up against Chelsea, potentially of the way that you might set up against Manchester City, a criticism around defensive tactics from some quarters, do you feel that that's unfair?
It doesn't matter what I feel. So my job is to be sure that my team can get a result. And we did it. Because again, I will say, you will have another idea. And she will have another idea, or he will have another idea. But we proved that we were right last year. So with this team, with the resources that we have, with the players that we have, with everything, we finished 10th. That is a fantastic achievement. That's it. Then now we will try to do that. So the main target is to achieve what you want to achieve. If you do that, the way to do it will be another thing. But you cannot say, if you do this, will be much better. Why? You don't know. You don't know my players. You don't know my team. You don't know what is going on. Then, at the end, you say, okay, I would like to do it in another way. Fine. If you are the manager, make the decision. But now we achieve something really important. And when they talk about our fans, or they will talk about our players, I said before, I'm really proud of my players. They are a very good group of players. They work really hard. But we are realistic. So we know where we are and what we have. And the fans, the majority of them, they understand that. But this debate was in Spain 15 years ago. So, oh, you have to do this, you have to do that. But in the end, what happened? That you have to get results. And you have to do it in the best way possible. Fine. If you spend 500 million, 300 million, 200 million, I understand that you can criticize, oh, you are doing this or that. We didn't do that. We have a profit. Why? Because we didn't spend 200 millions, not even 100 millions. Then we have to maximize the resources that we have.
Thank you.
Cheers.
You talked about how the kind of team spirit has been so important over the last 2 seasons, really carried the team. Is that same unity here at the moment for this season, and how big a factor will it be?
This season is different, but it's different because we did so well last year that we put ourselves under pressure. So the reality is that we didn't, in the transfer window, we didn't do things like we were expecting, and what we did at the end. So that means that these players, they will need some time. So how can you manage this situation in a better way? With easy games, with easy features, winning games. But when you have a difficult situation, so we knew when we saw the features, it will be tough. So the fans, the staff, the players, everybody, you knew that will be very tough. So what I have to do is to be sure that the team is strong enough mentally, even losing some games. That you will lose some games, because last year in January we made a big difference. So we start doing well, playing well, attacking football, scoring goals, winning games, and finish 10th. So this year has to be something similar. We have to be strong mentally to compete. And if you analyze our games, we could draw against Tottenham, we could win against Cardiff, and we could draw against Chelsea. So we are very close with the resources that we have. We are doing well. That means that I am happy because we are losing 1-2 against Chelsea. No, I'm really disappointed. But still, I know what I have, and I try to be realistic and then manage the squad to get results that is the best for our club.
Thank you.
Cheers. Okay.
Sorry, I just wanted to ask about Kennedy. What have you made of his performances so far this season?
I will be unfair with him because he was so good last year that if I say, no, we know the team, and I was answering and I was trying to explain, this team did so well last year that we started this year with a lot of expectation, but the reality is that we have difficult games, and the summer has been, the signings were too late, so these players, the team, the players that they had offers from different teams, so it was quite difficult to, especially at the end, to keep everybody calm, focused. Then we will need some time to be sure that everybody goes back to the same way that we were doing things last year. But again, it's togetherness, atmosphere is good. So all these things are in the right way. Now we need some results. If you cannot, at least be strong mentally to be sure that when you have a chance, you have to get your chance.
I know you've said in the past that there's still time to talk about your future at the club. I just wonder, there's reports around today that the owner apparently is unhappy that you've never invited him to come and watch training. What do you make of that?
The owner is the owner and is always welcome here, so no problems.
No, so you're in regular contact with him?
No problems if he wants to come or anyone, because we are a professional club that we are open to anyone, but he's the owner, so he can come here whenever he wants.
And just last one from colleagues in London, what did you make of Gareth Southgate's comments yesterday about England players not getting their fair chance in the Premier League that could harm the England team going forward? Was him or was the last manager or the other manager or the last manager? Because all the national managers, they say the same in every country. It's normal. There were more English players, or in Spain you were more Spanish players, or in Italy more Italian players playing. So that is the same speech for every manager. I don't say that it's wrong. I say that it's the same one. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.